Jan, over to you on Mathys Tel. Obviously, you don't want to overhype somebody. They're going to bring him along. We've seen this with Musiala a couple years ago. He starts making a few appearances, and then he becomes an important part of the team, of the rotation. From what you've seen of him, and I think I'm right in saying he's only appeared in 2 games thus far for Bayern, but obviously we saw a little bit of him last year at Rennes. What's your take?
That this is, as they tell us, this is one of the greatest talents, and you have to give credit to Bayern Munich doing that. You mentioned Musiala. That was just also something they got to, I guess, when they looked after Hudson-Odoi, and they were offered him as well. But Mathys Tel, this will be a great one. And they need a number 9. Can he turn into that typical number 9? I'm not sure, but I think that Bayern need that kind of thing. And interesting to see in Germany, because Dortmund has always been like, well, they take the young players, making them into great players. But if you see the record of Bayern now slowly, with Musiala, Davis, Tel, is start looking like a quite good record.
Jules, let's ask Jan an uncomfortable question, since he has no doubts about Mathys Tel making it. When you compare Mathys Tel at 16 with, say, Erling Haaland at 16, you were more convinced of Haaland at 16.
No.
Really?
No, I think that when Haaland was 16, he was growing a lot. He was there were different things, hands and feet, that didn't all get together at that time. This is the time when he goes for Bruyne, start to getting to Molde. So that was not to be seen. Tel at this time could have gone further than Haaland. Having said that, it's easy now to compare everybody with Haaland, because Haaland took some unbelievable steps coming to Salzburg in the Champions League, Dortmund, and now Manchester City. A bit unfair, but if I compare them now based on how they are when they are 17, I would say Tel is ahead.
Yeah, this is a great point. This is something we always often forget about, especially with taller people. And Jan, many years ago, you were a tall young striker. It makes such a difference when they have their growth spurt, doesn't it? I mean, some kids are where they are at 15 and then they don't grow anymore, and then the coordination catches up with them. Others, you're going to have those physical inconsistencies until later.
Yeah, but I think physical maturity is obviously very important in the game. But I think Jan probably mentioned also maturity full stop, not just that Erling was growing at 17 in terms of a professional player. I think for Mathys, it's a little bit different because he'd already been in the first team setup at Rennes in Ligue 1 for a couple of years. Even when he was 15, he was training with them. At 16, he played in Ligue 1, not much, and was not amazing per se. But then every time he was going down to the under-19s or the under-21s, he was amazing. So it was clearly that the talent was there. I never thought Bayern or anyone else would pay almost the 30 million euros that they invested, 20 plus, I think it's 9 in bonuses. But I guess if you don't get him now, it will cost you 60 or 70 in a couple of years' time. So may as well get him now, even for 30 million, nurture him, make him grow, develop him like they did. I thought it was really interesting, Jan, that Nagelsmann chose to play him wide in a game like this against the back 5 like Stuttgart, and not centrally, and put Müller centrally and Tel on the right-hand side and Gnabry on the left-hand side, almost to say like, okay, this is tough. If we start you against Stuttgart in the center, go wide, drift inside, come inside. You will be less exposed if you play slightly wide than in the center. You get less probably kicked and moved physically. And I think that's part of the learning curve for him. But I thought it was really, really good for a debut like that in the league.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's always easier when you're a young center forward to start out on the wing, right? I'm assuming it was the same case for you.
Well, I always played as a number 9. I always played in the middle. I am the most not convincing player to play at any other player position the whole career. I remember we played Werder Bremen away with Jörg Berger, the legendary Jörg Berger, and he put another striker on. I thought that he was taking me off, and then he pointed with his finger that I should play behind the strikers. And I had never done that in my whole life. I always played striker. So I had 20 minutes. I was like, coach, you can't be serious. The good thing about it is that the last 20 minutes in the 90s in the Bundesliga, there was so much space that I never had the ball more in my life. But these kind of strikers with the attributes that Tel is having, I understand why Nagelsmann is doing that, because you are positioned in another way, so you can go more 1-against-1, while you are when you are a striker, you will a bit more with your back to the defender, and maybe that will put another kind of pressure to you. So I think that was quite wise, and also it has to be said, in 2022, these kind of flexible players, that's why they're asking for them. And when you see their setup at Bayern now, they have to take different roles. One time Müller, Gnabry can play in the middle there, or should he play winger, and all that kind of thing. So I think we will see more of that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.